There's one key to iron play that trumps everything else, and nothing is more important than this, and that is getting clean, crisp, solid contact every single time. Now, of course, that sounds kind of obvious, but a lot of golfers don't realize just how important that is, or more importantly, exactly how to do it. And that's what I want to talk about today. So if you struggle with hitting the ground first and then the ball, or as some people say, the big ball, then the little ball, today's video is going to change the way that you think about how to play your irons, because there's typically just one main culprit that causes you to hit the ball fat, and it's actually something that you probably have never thought about. What you need to think about is the basic physics, or where the club bottoms out. If I was to hold the club up by the top of the grip and swing it back and forth like a pendulum, like a grandfather clock, that club is always going to bottom out in the same spot as long as I don't move this pivot point. Now, if I start moving this pivot point, the club starts bottoming out someplace different every time. Now, that's a pretty interesting concept when it applies to golf, because your primary pivot point, you have several, but your primary pivot point is your lead shoulder. So now, think about your lead shoulder, the club swinging back and forth from your left shoulder, if you're a right-handed golfer, and the club, as long as I don't change where my pivot point is, club's always going to bottom out in the same spot. Now think about that in the context, if I had a golf ball here, and I was just swinging back and forth, no weight shift, no turn, my club, where is it going to bottom out? Well, it's always going to bottom out at the point furthest from the center, directly beneath it. So in this case, if I drew a straight line down from the center of my shoulder socket, straight down to the ground, through my arm, through the shaft, that club would bottom out quite a bit forward in my stance. Now look where the ball is. The ball's way back here, off my left ear. The club's bottoming out here. So how would I ever hit it fat? Well, what if I took my right arm and I did that same drill? Now look where the bottom of my swing arc is. Now it's way back here, underneath my right shoulder, way back behind the ball. That's interesting. So if I wanted to stop hitting it fat, what would I need to do? Well, let's think about it for a second. Now as I put both hands on the club, these pivot points are now merged together. They're married together, and there's going to be a compromise in this marriage, like there is in all marriages, as many as you know. So if I put my right hand and I let it come completely off, the club is still going to bottom out way up here. I take my left hand off, club's going to bottom out back here. Them together, I could make it bottom out still in the middle of my stance if I blended them together 50-50. But the golf swing is not a 50-50 relationship. It's more like a 70-30 or 80-20 relationship as it comes into impact. The more lead side dominant you are, the more the divot is going to move forward. So if I start letting my right hand release and come off, I can still add speed by throwing with the right hand, but my divot is going to be forward. That's the key to iron play, is learning how to release that right hand and not over-dominate your golf swing with the right hand to move your divot forward in your stance. And then when you do that, you're going to always catch the little ball first and then the big ball. However, if you're very right side dominant and you're throwing from the top with your right arm and you're not getting your weight shifted, you're always going to change your primary pivot point to your right side, and the club's going to bottom out behind the ball. So if you want to understand how to get the ball first and make clean contact, I want to give you a little bonus clip at the end of this video that's going to show you some more of these concepts of how to get your divot forward and how to make a proper golf swing just like the tour pros. If you struggle with inconsistency in your golf swing, listen up, because I'm going to show you one thing that you've probably never ever heard before. And in fact, if you're taking golf lessons, there's a good chance that your instructor is actually teaching you to do it wrong, that's making it virtually impossible for you to play consistent golf and hit your irons consistently in the same spot and get them to go the same direction. What is this concept? I call it moving the fulcrum. When you think about it, think about a grandfather clock for a second. A grandfather clock has a fulcrum at the top, and then it swings on a very slight arc, right? Goes up, going back, down, bottoms out in the exact same spot every time, and then comes up in the same spot, and it never misses the bottom of its swing arc, does it? Now, if you think about it, that's the whole secret to iron play, is getting the club to bottom out in the exact same spot, in the exact same way every single time. That's all iron play is. If you can do that, golf's really simple. However, what would happen to my grandfather clock in the bottom of its swing arc if I started moving its fulcrum or its pivot point? So right now I'm going to keep it constant, pretty constant as I can keep my hand here. And now I'm going to move it. Oh man, club hasn't bottomed out in the same spot once, or maybe every now and then I get lucky and I get it to bottom out in the same spot. And how many times I do that? Maybe 1 out of 20? Sound like your golf swing? If so, listen up, because I'm going to teach you this concept you've never heard about keeping your fulcrums staying in the same spot so you can be the best iron player that you possibly can. So, what is this fulcrum? How do we relate this back to the golf swing, and what does it really matter? Well, we have lots of pivot points in the golf swing, really, but the one I want to talk about primarily is this left shoulder. Now, you've probably heard me talk about this concept of pushing versus pulling, and you get by now that makes a ton of sense. You must be using the pulling side of the body to get the club to travel behind and do the same thing every single time. If not, go back and look for my pushing versus pulling video. Now, if we're pulling in the downswing, what side can we pull with? Well, pretty obvious, it's the left side. And you know I've talked ad infinitum about releasing the club with the left hand. So, think about how that would relate to the grandfather clock again. What would be the fulcrum in your golf swing? Well, I'll give you a second to think about this, but it's not a trick question. It's your left shoulder socket. Left shoulder socket is moving in the golf swing, and the left arm in the club a heck of a lot like a grandfather clock. Now, of course, it's not exactly the same. There's obviously stuff happening in 3D space here. But what I want you to understand is that when you start moving that fulcrum in your downswing and at impact, like so many golf instructors are teaching you to do by rotating your shoulders through, you're making it virtually impossible to hit the club and hit the ball in the same way every single time. Just like the grandfather clock couldn't possibly hit the bottom of its swing arc the same way every single time. So let's do this as an example. I'm going to just try and pivot the club from my left shoulder socket. I'm going to try to relax my hand as much. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it really helps you improve your game, but I don't want to stop there. I want to give you something free that will completely transform your understanding of the golf swing. If you want to be more consistent, if you want more distance, you want to make more putts, and you want to get up and down from anywhere around the green, I want you to take advantage of getting my free guide that's going to walk you through the key components of a perfect golf swing. It's a totally free guide that's going to walk you through everything from step 1 to step 100 on how to build a perfect golf swing. And it's going to show you how to hit the ball further. It's going to show you how to hit the ball higher. It's going to show you how to hit the ball with more spin or less spin, whatever you're looking to achieve with your game. You're going to understand how the pros are able to manipulate the ball by understanding one key concept that I call pushing versus pulling. And when you watch this video in our guide, it's going to completely change the way that you understand the golf swing. So take advantage of this now. Click the link you see in the description or what you see up on the screen, and it's going to take you where you can instantly get this guide and start working on your golf swing and improving today.